It is week 11 of the college football season. And, well, it's not like the big primetime card of games. A lot of the SEC teams playing cupcakes, but still, like we saw last week, Joe, a lot of opportunity. And, I think with NBA now in full swing and college basketball heating up, usually, well, the better start to turn and start to dilute, from just concentrating on college football and maybe gives us some more opportunities.
Absolutely. We got some great games. I'm excited for them. Definitely.
We've got a lot of cappers coming on the show today, as usual. Maybe a few less than normal, so it gives everybody maybe a little bit more chance to talk with everyone. For me, this is a monster day. This is why I love college football, is because of today. And the Miami Florida State game is generally the first week in October. Is when they normally play it. They've played it at all different times. It's been the first game of the season before, but these have been, some of the greatest games of all time. And when you look at this series and where it's gone now, obviously not the big event that it used to be. For 25 years, 23 of them, the national championship was decided by this game. So either the winner of the national championship or one of the participants in the national championship or one of the participants in the national championship was either one of these two teams or a team that beat the winner of this game was in the national championship game. 23 of 25 years. There's been the game that had the most NFL players in history come out of a single college football game came out of a Miami, Florida State game. 94 players from one college football game played in the NFL, Miami, Florida State. So you look at the NFL rosters, and they're still loaded with guys from these teams. Loaded.
Absolutely.
I mean, you see the best, and it's not just guys from these teams. Some of the best players at the top positions are the guys from these teams still, even though these programs are down. So still a significant game, and for me, it's why I love college football. I grew up in the stands watching this game, and the chopping and the chanting and all that stuff in our building.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is what I grew up with.
Yep.
And
So this one's making the big screen.
well,
Which other one's
this
making the
is
big screen?
this is the game for me. This is my
It's the game.
season. This is everything for us. We can, like Manny Diaz, he can't, if he loses this game, he will be fired. No doubt
He
about
will.
it. He will. If Miami loses this game, Manny Diaz will be fired. He won't be. He might not be fired today, but he will not make it to next season if Miami loses this game. No chance.
Yeah, and I don't think they will, Mitch.
No. If they win,
I think you're going to be a happy camper.
well, if they win today, they have more ranked teams than Ohio State, wins over ranked teams than Ohio State and Cincinnati combined. And you look at, and these are teams talked about for the playoff. And you look at Miami's losses, Michigan State, at home. Not a lot of shame in that. No one had beaten them when that happened. And Alabama, that happens. A chip shot against Virginia that they missed. It's probably the shortest miss of a field goal in college football this season, by one of the best kickers in college football. And then at North Carolina, they're driving down the field, and they're at the 20-yard line of the Tar Heels, going through them like a knife through butter, and a ball gets tipped. A defensive lineman makes a ballerina catch on an interception, and they end up losing that game. So, I mean, these are happening. It's part of football, but really, you look at those 4 losses and you kind of look at what they've done recently, and you see, wow, where was this all along? So it's like, where was it all along? Is this Manny Diaz's fault that we haven't seen it all along? Or, what the heck's going on here? But what we've seen is since the De'Ara King injury, which, we wish him the best, now we have a true downfield passer, and Miami always has NFL wide receivers, and this Charleston Rambo is, he might not be Michael Irvin, Andre Johnson, or Reggie Wayne, or Santana Moss, or any of those guys, but he's an NFL wide receiver starter. He's
Absolutely.
unbelievable.
And I think those explosive offensive plays down the field is what's going to be the game changer in this one. I don't think Florida State will be able to keep up.
Yeah, I think Miami has 5 NFL wideouts. I think they do, and I think Knighton, the
Crazy.
freshman running back, is just one of the. Miami's had great home run hitter running backs throughout the years, and you know, I mean, the list goes on and on. It's an embarrassment of riches. You know, Edgerrin James, Frank Gore, and Clinton Portis, and Nigel Davenport. We had. I mean, it just continues to go and go and go. Lamar Miller, and I mean, there's tons of them. There's even more than that, but I think Willis McGahee. But this Knighton is back to that form of Miami running back where it's like Frank Gore was as a freshman, where there's a crease, and if you give him that crease, it's a touchdown 100% of the time. Frank Gore's first carry at Miami was also for 90 yards and a touchdown. And
Wow.
Yeah, and
I did not realize that.
Yeah, and Knighton is in that same category. But anyways, I could go on and on about Miami. We could do a whole show on it, but let's bring in Kevin Thomas, and he's going to be our first guest today. But
great way to start the show with Kevin Thomas.
Of course.
Oh, thank you.
Of course it is. So let's bring him in. Kevin, welcome to the show. I know you're not a Miami fan, but that's okay. That's why we got it out of your system.
I'm not, but I'm a little worried. Coming off that big win, and this is Florida State Super Bowl. If you ask me, what do they got to play for? Nothing. Miami still has a chance.
I got news for you. This is the entire. I'm from Miami, and trust me on this. This is the entire season. This game is the entire season. Before the season starts, every single season, if Miami went 1-11, the fan base would be satisfied if this was the win going into the season. If they were going to go 2-10 and Notre Dame was on the schedule, if the wins were Florida State, Notre Dame, even if Notre Dame was 0-12 that year, or Florida State was 0-12 that year, it doesn't matter. If Florida was on the schedule, it'd be the same thing. Trust me, I'm from Miami. I grew up with this game. This is why I love college football, is because of this game. When I played Pee Wee football, we won the state championship. And the prize, I don't know what it was. We got trophies, we got all this stuff. But one of the prizes was that we got to play at halftime of a Miami-Florida State game. And that's all we cared about. It was the dream come true. To play, 7 years old on the field at the old Orange Bowl, halftime of my Florida State game with 85,000 fans. It was nuts. I'm telling you, this game is gigantic for both teams, and for Manny Diaz, his job hangs in the balance here. It is. He loses, he's out. There's no way he could withstand a loss to Florida State. They wouldn't have it. But anyways. So we're just 3 weeks left of the regular season of college football, and then we're ready to head into the bowls. And who knows what we're going to get, but it's definitely a lot different season than we saw last year. What do you see, with the fans in the stands? Has it had that gigantic impact, in the games that we thought it would?
Definitely. There's no doubt about it. And I'm a big fan of the Big Ten, and these guys have been brutal. And every year I always think the Big Ten gets a little bit, because I think their schedule is a little bit harder because they always play the best competition. They're always ranked in the top 10.
But the rankings aren't based on performance, because the rankings are based on TV ratings. I mean, we see that because the line is clearly there. When you have Ohio State ranked ahead of Cincinnati, and I think, and to be honest with you, either of those teams played Georgia, they're going to get beaten down. I mean, beaten down. I don't think Ohio State.
Ohio gets past Michigan.
Yeah, I don't think Ohio State scores a point on Georgia. I think they get shut out in that game.
Yeah, Georgia is the cream of the crop. I give you that. Yeah, but I always think the Big Ten, they always battle each other. Being Penn State guy and stuff, I always feel like they all get beat up a little bit before that playoff.
But when they go out of conference, but the problem is when they go out of conference, they don't always hold up, and we see that in the bowls, especially. I mean, one of the greatest plays in college football history, the Jadeveon Clowney sack of shoelace in that Michigan South Carolina game. That thing was epic. You could still hear the thud. But anyways, it's like I think that's what the beauty of college football is. I think, and I say this about our fan base, and I say this about everything, is that NFL fans are fans, they're football fans or whatever. But college football fans, it's like we bleed it, we live it. It hurts when we lose, and the Dolphins have a bad thing. I don't really care, It's like the guys come and go, but the Miami loses, it hurts. We're bad, like we've been for the last 20 years or something. At this point, it hurts. It hurts.
Well, I'm a Navy guy, so my big games against Army every year down here at the Lincoln Financial Field. So I'm a huge Navy fan. So that's the only game I really care about us winning, because we're usually not that great the whole season. But we do cover a lot of spreads, and I think it's because a lot of these coaches, they don't want to run it up on military teams, especially in college basketball. Anytime I see a military team going against like a top team, I always lean towards the military team. Just a respect factor there.
Yeah, I did not like that that defensive setup last week right before the half against Notre Dame. That was really kind of cost. It was nip and tuck the game, and then all of a sudden just decide not to cover the wide receiver right before the half, and they just toss one deep on him, and that was pretty much the ball game there. But what do you got for us today?
Well, I'm in that Big Ten action where I got Rutgers going to Indiana. And these two are probably two of the worst teams in the Big Ten right now. And I actually had little thoughts Indiana will be a little bit better than they are, but they have owned Rutgers the last 7, winning the last 5 they played. And the most recent meeting was a 37-21 win. Now, when these two teams match up, the home team has covered 4 of the last 5 against the spread at home. So that's what I'm expecting here. I mean, Rutgers comes in, their quarterback, they're saying is, what's his name? Nothing to play for except their coach saying, we got to win a Big Ten game because they haven't won one yet. I think they win this game, and I think they do it by the 7.
Yeah, I think we lost a lot of your audio on that, so it's back on. Sorry about that. It's back on now, but these guys are still saying no sound, but I know it's back on now. But these guys are just late on it, but that's okay. So if you go back, I think around where you said the quarterback was out.
It wasn't 100% that Noah was going to be out. Like I said, I think they pulled him out of that Wisconsin game. They said he was injured, but I think when you're losing by 50 points or whatever, I think the coach just pulled you just so you're not embarrassed and get hurt. I think he'll be ready for this game. My big concern for Rutgers is their punt returner, Aaron Cruikshank. The guy's averaging 19.1 yards on the punt returns, and he also does their kick returns. So like I said, I expect a turnover in that aspect of the game. Indiana 8-1 ATS at home, and they covered 4-0 against teams with losing records. So I like Indiana here just to get a win at home in the Big Ten because they haven't had one yet at home. So Indiana -7 is the play here for me.
Joe Madden, what do you think?
I worry about injuries on both sides for these two teams. I understand the point of Indiana at home wanting to get that win for their coach, but I just think it's way too many points here. If this was a 3-4 point spread, I'd give it to Indiana. I think they win by that. We look at a Rutgers team that has covered the spread in 8 of their last 9 road games. So give me Rutgers plus the points. I think just a couple too many here.
Yeah, for me, it's like Tom Allen just is one of those guys. I just can't stand him. It's like I just can't stand this guy. I never really understand his strategy, and it's like he goes for it in the stupid spot, and he doesn't go for it like in the spot that makes sense. And then it's like I don't know. I've seen him have his teams basically quit out on the field as well, which I never like either. He had the big season last year, but this year it's been an injury mess. I think, with Rutgers and Schiano, I mean, he's been there, done that. He's got a couple rings, as coordinator. And the thing about him is last time he was at Rutgers, it was a 5-year plan, and he made it there. It's like he didn't get to the national championship game, but no one's expecting that at Rutgers. I mean, they had the Ray Rice teams, right, and the Mohamed Sanu teams, and there were some good teams that he had, but I don't know. This got two teams with the same colors here, Joe. I got problems with this.
Yeah, I'm not betting it personally. I'm not at all.
It's like,
right? Someone's getting fired.
yeah,
Something's
two teams with the same colors. Someone could get fired out there. That's what happened. It's a tough one. I think I would lean to Rutgers, but I don't know. To me, in that time slot, there's other games, other places I'd rather be.
Well, Indiana will have 3 of their quarterbacks available as Penix Jr. is back and Tuttle, so they can go with all 3 of them. And they've been out for the last 2 against top competition. So I think
they all stink. That's the problem.
I think they give them a better shot at home.
It's kind of it's what we call the San Francisco 49ers thing. It's like you got all your quarterbacks available, but they all stink. It's like Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance. It's like, why bother? Why bother showing up? Not going to win any games with those guys. Doesn't happen. Yeah. All right. Well, what do you got for sale today at the Pick Dogs?
Well, I got my college football 5-pack for $45. Last 7 days, college football over 1,000 units. Last 30 days, I'm cashing over 64% in college football. So today's all about college football. I know there's a lot of sports out there, but when I focus in on one, I go big. So you can get on my college football 5-pack today for $45. Or you could buy each pick individually, whichever you want. I got a Big 12 game out there today for $30. That's a huge game. That's the one I'll be watching between Oklahoma and Baylor. Great game, and I got a great win for that one there.
Yep, I love that game too. I love that one also. So
best of luck today, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Of course, we know you got a tight schedule, and we appreciate you stopping by, taking the time to be here. And we'll see you tomorrow, right, for NFL Sunday.
Sure will. Thank you, guys, and good luck to everybody.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Once again, that was Kevin Thomas with.
Great way to start the show this week with him.
That's there's some tough games out there, and I consider that to be one of the tough ones.
Oh, it absolutely is.
It's it's like Rutgers. It's like we've seen the good from them, but we've seen the nasty from them. And Indiana, they were so good last year, and then this year they've been so bad. It's like they're in that Cincinnati Ohio State argument. They're the common opponent. They got the crap beat out of them by both of them. It's like they both played Tulsa poorly, and then they both played Indiana really well. So, but that is the
absolutely, like Indiana is due for a win. Just scares me. That's 6.5 points, 7 points. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of points, but maybe it's maybe because they're looking for Rutgers money. That would be the argument the other way, is that they have it like that. So we have a lot of guests today. So I think we'll bring in Jovan next.
Awesome.
But Joe, did you get a chance to watch the Villanova UCLA game last night in hoops?
I did not. I don't even know the score on that one. I did not have a chance to check any scores this morning.
Well, it went to overtime, and UCLA pulled it out in overtime, and Villanova had the game. They had it won, and they kind of let it slip away, which was weird because Jay Wright's just so much of a better coach than Mick Cronin. You just don't see that too often, but it just shows that UCLA roster is super loaded. If you can overcome a Mick Cronin coaching, to beat a Villanova team like that, then you have some serious talent on that team because, there's sometimes, where just talent overdoes it. But
how many points did they beat Villanova by?
What was it, Jovan? Was it 7 points in the end?
Wow.
It was overtime. It was overtime.
put
Yeah.
it like this: even if you took the spread, and you was on Villanova, you lost.
Yep. And what really I think was the game was that, and the cover was that in overtime, Villanova's down by 4. They go to the line, and they miss the front end of a 1-and-1. It's like they never do that. I mean, that never happens, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's like it never happens, and it's like you saw it in that game, but it happened. So, congratulations to those at UCLA. I didn't have a dog in the fight. I had a free pick on Villanova, but I didn't.
Oh, I did.
I didn't really have much action on that game. I just didn't love it. There was other spots that I really liked yesterday. I really liked Abilene. I didn't give it out as a premium, but I gave it out on the free picks and the videos. I really liked them. They almost won. They lost on the buzzer beater, but they covered easily. And the Oregon Ducks, man, they look like whoa. Holy crap. Don't give Gonzaga into that number 1 seed in the West just yet, huh? Holy moly.
They played that well last night. Wow.
They're stacked. I mean, it's
That's
like they don't
awesome.
have a guy on the team that can't, like, absolutely take over the game. It's kind of like how, how Baylor was last year, or 2 years ago when they stopped the season before Baylor had a chance to win the national title. Where they just have so many guys, it's like you don't know which 5 to even put on the court anymore. It's just, it's hard.
Hey, but going back to that Villanova game, that's one of those losses that can actually be a blessing in disguise for a team like that. A game where they could say, "Listen, you should have had that game. You did lose to a talented team, behind enemy lines, and later on in the season, that's what I can see Jay Wright turning that into one of those pep talks throughout the season to get back to the Final Four and meeting up with UCLA, or a chance to meet up with UCLA.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games. It's not going to hurt Villanova. It's going to help UCLA in the long run. And like you said, learning experience. Sometimes that's, like I said, it's not a loss that's going to hurt Villanova on their resume, but probably it's something for them to think about, later on in March.
Right.
It's definitely one that will come up. It's not like we've heard the last of that game, just like tonight's game, Gonzaga and Texas. Tonight won't be the last we hear of this. This will be brought up. Oh, yeah, but they played. They played. Meanwhile, Oregon played Ohio State, and no one seems to remember that, in football. But anyways, what do you got going on in college football for your first game?
Yeah, so we go into the SEC. I have my finger on the pulse in the SEC for some reason this year. I basically fluctuate, with these conferences and who I like to zone in on. I guess this year's been the SEC, and I'm going to Auburn, playing at home against Mississippi State, and I'm on Mississippi State in this one. Now Mike Leach, he's back to his old tricks, throwing it around the sandlot, not caring about running the ball, barely running the ball. But I guess you could do that when you have a quarterback in Will Rogers, who's manning the fourth ranked passing offense in the country at 376 yards per game. And with this Mississippi State defense stopping the run, they've been doing this all year. They're 12th in the nation doing that. And, that puts the ball or forces the ball squarely in Bo Nix's hands. And when Bo Nix has the ball, anything can happen. And I think bad things might happen.
Seriously, anything can happen.
Right. And hey, listen, he'll either make one of the biggest plays or one of the biggest mistakes in the game. And I think he's due for a couple big mistakes in this game. And outside of the Alabama game, the 49-9 loss that they took on the chin, I think that Mississippi State, they haven't lost by more than 3. And I think that this is one of those games where it's a 3 to 4 point game. Last team with the ball might win. And, I just don't see it any other way. So, take Mississippi State.
Joe, we talked about this game yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I like it, Jovan. I think what we're going to see against Auburn is a really strong offensive game out of the Bulldogs in this one. I think I don't know. I think Auburn will try to control the time of possession in it, but I don't think they'll be able to. I think the Bulldogs will run away with this one. I think they could actually win this one straight up. So give me Mississippi State as well.
Yeah, I like Mississippi State. I was offended by Auburn's performance last week offensively, and well, the defense were hung out to dry by the offense, which was just pitiful. I mean, when everything goes bad when the kickers start missing too. It's just it's just terrible. So I don't know how Auburn bounces back from that. I think the Mississippi State defense is actually a lot better than a lot of people expected it to be. Usually Mike Leach's teams, really good offense, really bad defense. But this year, the defense is actually really good on Mississippi State. I think it's going to be probably a better game than I'm giving Auburn credit for, because they certainly have the guns. It's not like they don't have the players. But, man, that Bo Nix, can't stand him. Lost money on his father. I've been losing money on him, too. It's like a racehorse, man. It's like, lost money on your father. I'm losing money on you. It's like, it's how long I've been doing this crap. What else you got for us today?
Oh, yeah. So we're going to your game. We're going to ACC, and we're going to take on this Miami FSU game. Now, it because you lived it. This is one of the biggest rivalry in college football. They quite frankly hate each other, and with Tyler Van Dyke on the ever since he's coming to the fray, this has revitalized the Hurricanes, and quite possibly save Manny Diaz's job. Now, as you said, a win today will solidify it basically, but it at least puts some this 3-game winning streak that they've had puts him on steady ground to at least keep his job for another year. And what better way to become bowl eligible than to get a win in Tallahassee, against your arch rivals. So their offense has been clicking. They scored at least 31 points in the last 4 games, and they played good enough D to win games. So I just think in this one, playing an FSU team that, whether they have Jordan Travis or Mackenzie Melton under center, and them not really doing anything, whether they have either one of those quarterbacks under center, they're not really doing anything special, and they find more ways to lose than anything. Can't really get out of their own way. I'm looking at a rather convincing win by Miami.
Joe, what do you got to say?
Yeah, I'm not going against Miami on this show, or in this game. I think we're going to see a great one out of them. I think they're going to pick apart the holes in the secondary for Florida State. I think they'll have a huge passing game, and their defense will be able to stop any run game Florida State tries to play. So give me Miami in a big win.
If Miami loses this game, Manny Diaz will not be the head coach of Miami next season. It's all on the line here. This is the whole season for Miami. It is the whole season for Florida State. And, the thing is, Florida State also has the Florida game, too, though, in a couple weeks. So they have another chance. Miami does not have Florida on the schedule this year. So this is the season for Manny Diaz. And like I say all the time, Miami can go 1-11. As long as this is the win, we're all good, and that's as a diehard bleed orange and green fan, how much Miami stuff do I have? I got our rings here, I got everything going on. It is as big a game as there is for the Canes, and I think that you're right. Since Van Dyke has come in for Derek King, this is a different team. Miami has NFL wide receivers across the board, and Florida State's secondary is not very good this year. They're decent against the run, and Florida State is a good running team, and Miami hasn't been great at stopping the run. But I think what's going to happen here is that Miami's going to go up big, and Florida State's not going to be able to run the football anymore, and that will be it. that would be game over, and there'll be turnover chain and the whole dancing and all that other stuff. Yeah, we've seen this before, and I could see Florida State mounting a comeback. That's how it usually goes in these things, and I see it coming up short and probably wide left. But I like Miami in this one. I think Manny stays another year, and I think that he's learned a lesson here. And I think Rhett Lashley has learned a lesson this year as well. And I think we all did. And I said it earlier in the season too, that just because your quarterback has experience, it doesn't mean he's the guy that's going to get you the most wins. You got to go with the best player. And I think I love the loyalty idea of Derek King coming back from the injury and all that other stuff. But clearly Van Dyke and Jake Garcia, the other Miami quarterback, these guys are downfield pocket passers. And when Miami has won national championships, it's been with downfield pocket passers. And Charleston Rambo was one of the top wide receivers in the country when he came out of high school, signed with Oklahoma. And we know that they get a star every single year, wide receiver. So he got tired of sitting around, not getting the ball that much. He came to Miami. What has he got, 70 catches this year or something? He's got to be one of the top wide receivers in the entire nation. Look for him to have a monster day. This is the day where superstars are made in this game. We have seen the superstars. This is where the best players in Miami and Florida State history have made their mark. These are the games. This was the one. Michael Irvin beat Deion Sanders to the end zone, for the win in Tallahassee to win the national championship that year. Santana Moss caught that ball over the middle in traffic, ripped his helmet off. It was before it was a penalty, and you started screaming, big-time players make big-time plays in the big-time games. Ray Lewis, the interception with Florida State on the Miami 2-yard line, ready to go in for the win, and Ray Lewis intercepts it and runs it back the other way. I mean, these are the games that happen in this one when rivals meet like this. I'm excited for it. I don't know if we have that type of talent level on the field here. Jeremy Shockey, the catching, over the middle. It's like so many great Miami-Florida State games, so many big plays and so many big-time players. This is why I love college football, is this game. And Miami's going to kill them this year. We got them. It's like, there's no other way I could look at this thing, but I'm super excited for this game. And I know it's lost a lot of its significance on the national scene, but it will be back. Like I said at the beginning of the show, there was a period where 23 of 25 national championships were decided through this game, and I think that day will come again because the talent is there. But Miami, back to what you were saying, Miami, they started the season terribly. They're now 16th best passing team in the nation, which just shows you where they've been recently. It's over 400 yards every week. Anyways, Jovan, what do you got for sale? Because I could talk about this game all day.
Yeah, so it's Saturday. I got my own Saturday shootout all day. 9-pack, 9 that I like. Been rolling in college football this year. So, just another Saturday at the office trying to keep it rolling. I also have some basketball up. NBA and college basketball momentarily, so check me out.
All right. Well, we'll see you tomorrow for NFL football. Jovan, thanks again for joining us. Go Canes.
Absolutely. See you tomorrow.
Best of luck, Jovan.
Joe, that was Jovan with us. It's like I could talk Miami football all day and all night. I just love it. That's why I love college football. I grew up with it. They were terrible when I was really young. They were unbelievably, good for the bulk of my life. In the last few years, well, it's been a little rough, but I believe they will be back. And I know what the Clemson fans are going through this year. So it's like at least we had that run to experience it. While there's a lot of programs out there that never got to even experience what it's like to be on top of the mountain and to be the team that everybody wants to beat. And it is fun. It makes it a lot more fun when that's the case. That's for sure. It's way better than being the disappointing team that we've seen in recent years.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a great game. What time does that one start, Mitch?
It's 3:30 Eastern time.
There you go.
So it's in that middle time slot. Not sure what station it's on, but I'm gonna guess ABC or ESPN because there's still people that enjoy it as much as I do. But anyways, bring in Big Al. Welcome. He'll tell you as a Michigan alum that it's they wish they had to look back and say that the run that we had. They can only wish, and they could talk about their national championships from 1920 all they want, but it's been a long time.
Oh man,
it's been a long time.
How are you guys doing this morning?
We're hanging.
Great.
We're hanging. It's this is the grind of the season. It's the college basketball meets college football meets NBA meets NHL meets the NFL all at once. This is center stage, prime time. This is what everyone kind of lives for as sports fans.
That's right. Yeah. In fact, I didn't even get to go to sleep last night. It was an all-nighter for me. So let's take a look. I apologize. My dog all of a sudden decided he wanted to talk. We'll try to get through this fast. Let's take a look at the Notre Dame-Virginia game. Notre Dame is off 4 straight wins and covers, with the last 3 coming at home in South Bend. But road teams are 40 and 72 against the spread, off 3 straight up and against the spread home wins. So it's a bad scheduling situation for Notre Dame to have to play in Charlottesville. The other thing about this game is that Virginia is rested. And when you get a rested team playing a team with a 727 or better win percentage that is off back-to-back straight up and against the spread wins, the rested team has gone 45 and 18 against the spread the last 63. So, the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous in this ball game is the questionable status of Brennan Armstrong. I still don't know if he is going to play. Bronco Mendenhall did say on Monday that he expects him to, but it's not yet confirmed. That's probably the only thing that keeps this from being a premium selection. But I like Notre Dame plus the 6.5. I'm sorry, I like Virginia plus the 6.5 against Notre Dame.
Joe, Charlottesville can be tough. This crowd loves to get lathered up for the games. I know I've been there, so they can be pretty. They can be pretty tough there as well. So, what are you thinking in this one, Joe?
Yeah, I could see it. I am concerned about the quarterback issue for Virginia, but I think they might have enough to keep this one tight in this. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring one either. I'm looking more at the under in this game, just not knowing the status behind Armstrong, if he'll hit the field or not for Virginia. So I like the under 64.5. I think this is a little bit too many points. I don't see either team really running up that scoreboard.
Notre Dame games tend to have super tight lines, and I think that that might not be the case here with Al. I like Virginia here. I think that they have a chance to win this game outright, and it's just kind of a weird spot for Notre Dame kind of late in the season here. They still only have 1 loss, and they're still ranked in the top 10, but they're not even getting a mention in any of these things. And when and once again, we could have the same argument that we have every single day and every single week, that when you look at their 1-loss record, it's arguably they've played a much tougher schedule than Ohio State, who's ranked well ahead of them in the standings. And, it's that I know that they had a struggle against Toledo, but, Ohio State didn't look so good early in the season either. So I don't understand why Ohio State gets passes on those and other teams don't. I'm not a Notre Dame backer, but, they played a Big Ten team, and they beat the crap out of them. The crap out of them. And it was neutral site. There was no excuses. It was about 625-3, I think, when all was said and done. And that was Wisconsin, of course, who everyone's gushing over now. Anyways, Al, just my opinion.
The dogs are definitely barking.
Yeah, hold on, just bear with me.
It's poodle break here.
I was waiting for mine to answer back.
Poodle break in the McMorty house here. But
Absolutely.
yeah, this was a game that we haven't really talked. That was a game that we haven't really talked about a lot this week on any of the shows. It's kind of like it's a flying under the radar game, but it's one of those games where Notre Dame is on the road, so it's not an NBC game. So it's like we know it's going to be, you know, one of these games that gets a lot of national exposure too. So we know that it's on TV. I'm probably going to have some money on it. So, well, I guess they're all on TV, aren't they?
You probably have some money on almost everything, I would assume.
I think I think I'm more selective than people think.
Okay.
I think, you know, I have all right, I have a good amount of action. Because there's just a lot of games. There's just a lot of
There
games.
is.
You know, it's like there's nothing you can do about it. I don't make the schedule. You know, so I can't
absolutely.
I'm not going to sit there and say I only play 3 to 5 games when I have 30 that I can cash on, and then, you know, try and squeeze 5 games out of a card that I only like 1. It's like I can't do it.
Well, I love when I hit my book and I start betting, and then I go down the list and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to bet that one too and that one too, and get to the end. It's a lot of fun.
I like my bankroll after that Thursday night halftime show. Anyways, Al, what do we got? Yeah.
Well, okay, so Walter's gone, so hopefully we have some peace quiet. The other game I want to take a look at is the Kentucky-Vanderbilt game. 4 weeks ago, Kentucky was riding high. They were 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread. Of course, then they had to play the Georgia Bulldogs. They covered the spread in that ballgame, even though they lost. But since then, they've gone 0-2 both straight up and against the spread to fall to 6-3 on the season. But now they get Vanderbilt, and this is a team that they can absolutely destroy. And one of the things I like to do is take teams off 3 or more losses when they're favored by 20 or more points. These teams have gone 44 and 24 ATS going back to 1980. And I really, really, really like Kentucky here minus the 21. I'm going to lay the points.
Vandy is god awful. Joe?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I love Kentucky minus the points in this one. We look at Vandy. They're 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 games. Following that bye, they come in rusty off a bye. I also like the over. I think Kentucky does have a couple holes in their defense that Vandy can put up some points. Not a lot today, but Kentucky will run away with this one. We're going to hit the over as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say the worst performance by a major conference college team this year was Vandy against Georgia. I don't think they crossed the 50 in that game. Or maybe they did once, and I think they missed the field goal or something. It was bad. But I think the first play of the game was like a 16-yard sack, and it kind of all went from there. But, yeah, they're terrible. And Kentucky, we see this every year out of Stoops, though. It's like the first half of the year, they start 6-0. This is what they've been recently. And then the second half of the year, they just get worse. College basketball starts. They kind of get, you know, he gets away with it. And, you know, then they go to a bowl game and generally play fairly well in that game against the Big Ten team. So, you know, I like Kentucky here. Vandy's terrible. I don't know what it's going to take to get Vandy back to relevance. It just shows you just how good of a coach James Franklin is, that he had this Vandy team winning. It just does. Because I don't see a solution in sight. I mean, last year they went to the female kicker to try and change the mojo, and it didn't really work out for them either. I don't know if there's any female kickers in the offing for the Doors, but I think Kentucky's going to take out some frustration. They have 2 running backs that can absolutely bring it. Crevassier Smoke and Chris Rodriguez.
So over at Pick Dogs Premium today, guys, I've got 9 college football plays. I've already posted 7 NFL plays, including my NFL game of the month for Sunday. And then I've got a lot of basketball today. I've got 1 play in the NBA. I've got 4 college basketball winners. I've got 1 play in hockey. So it's a very full card on this weekend, and it's all up and ready right now at Pick Dogs. And of course, the best deal of all is to team you up with one of the other champion handicappers like Javon or Brian and do the 2-for-1 handicapper special.
Absolutely, that is the way to go. Or, you know, a weekend pass or something, because it sounds like if you get your weekend pass, it's going to be like $2 a pick or something. You know, the number of picks you're given. So.
Yeah, it's the time to join. You know, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you get it all over the weekend.
Yeah,
you probably have about 30 or 40 plays.
This is the time. You know, this is the time, and it's like you know, you hear people talk about, well, football season's coming, and they get all excited for September and October. But for me, I know that, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't just look at, you know, at football as like everybody loves football. I look at it, you know, as I see from the website, I can gauge everybody's interest by the amount of people that pour in and just the amount of people that love college basketball. Because for us as bettors, and, you know, even like baseball, I know that there's not that many people that like baseball, but the beauty of it is it's every single day, you know, and college basketball, NBA, every single day. So if you get Al's monthly, you're going to get a ton of plays.
Did either of you guys get to watch the Villanova UCLA game last night?
I watched it, and that was just, I mean, I think Villanova has got to wonder what happened. You know, I think they had it. They had the game, and it's odd because normally that's the game that Mick Cronin, you know, totally gets blamed for losing because it's normally his fault. It was odd that it was, you know, Villanova that missed, you know, and then in overtime, when you're down by 4 and you miss the front end of the 1-and-1, that's just not Villanova. You know, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, and then UCLA never missed a free throw seems the whole game. I mean, they just, you know,
they're so talented. They're so talented, but, you know, Mick Cronin is such a bad coach. He could only get that team to the play-in game last year. You know, it's like that's how bad of a regular season coach he is. He's got that kind of talent. The team had to play in the play-in game. They come like a shot from going to the, you know, to all the way. You know, that's how much talent he has. I mean, he's a terrible coach. Really one of the worst out there, I believe. It was amazing that him and Chris Mack coached in the same city. Right, so it was like Xavier and Cincinnati. It's like two guys that do less with more than anybody. I don't know.
Well, it's going to be a fun college basketball year. So.
Yeah, I think it's tough for me to let go of the Mick Cronin, that Nevada loss in the tournament. It's just tough for me to let go of that. You know, they were up by 49 and lost, something like that, 38. It's got to be one of the biggest comeback losses in the history of the NCAA tournament. Yeah, those are the ones that leave a mark. It's like I won't remember any of the great wins that he's got me, but I'll remember that Nevada loss in the NCAA tournament forever.
Yeah, well, I had UCLA last night, so he got me that nice win. So
well, you know, he's gonna get you them here and there. I mean, he's coached in enough games, but.
Anyway, well, I will chat with you guys tomorrow morning, and I wish you all the luck in the world. You know,
looking to see what that comeback was. So it was 44-32 at halftime, but the lead was much bigger than that. In the second half, they had a gigantic lead with like 10 minutes left to go, and but the final was only 75-73. It was a massive comeback. Oh, well, it happened. We'll see you tomorrow for NFL football. We appreciate you stopping by, as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Mitch. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Best of luck today. Enjoy.
That was Big Al McMorty and Walter, his dog, with us.
I love the name Walter for a dog. I did not know his dog was named Walter.
It's a good name.
It's a great name for a dog. I love dogs with human names.
That's Sam.
I really do.
I got Sam.
Right? Especially sophisticated ones like Walter.
That is a good one.
It is.
But, yeah, we still have a few guests left to go. We got Chris Ruffalo up next. And, of course, Chris has been doing those hockey videos with Rod. And, of course, he's been with us forever.
He's on a killer run. Did you see his record yesterday? Wow.
No, I don't look at the records or anything like that. I don't.
He crushed it yesterday. 11-1, I believe it was.
Really? In one day?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Solid.
Absolutely.
If I had a dozen picks for yesterday, I would have had a shot at it, but I think I only had 3. I had 5. Sorry. But, wow, Baker's dozen, 13. Let's see. Looking for Chris's name tag here. Not known for editing his picks. Chris, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Yeah, you lost me at Baker's dozen. I got distracted for a second. I just started thinking of pastries.
11-1 sounds like a lot of balls bouncing in your direction.
Yeah, it was just one of those days. But today's a new day. Every day is going to be different. So just hoping to try to carry it forward.
All right. Well, we've got plenty of action for today, and of course, you've been doing those NHL videos over with Rod here at Pick Dogs. You've been doing videos over at Sports Chat, and college basketball season is here as well. And we know, you enjoy the college basketball. You're in on all of our college basketball gags, our juvenile treatment of the game, which Joe is starting to learn the hard way. She just never knows what's coming next. She always feels like she always feels blindsided. It's like the first time she heard "What up, beaches?" Like,
I'm scared to react.
She doesn't know. She's like, I hope he doesn't read off the list of college basketball games again. It's like, word up.
Oh man, I'm waiting for your Long Beach State and Presbyterian parlay.
Oh,
that'll be
man.
great.
1 ho, 2 ho, red ho, blue ho. Well, what do you got for us today, Chris? Coming off of an 11-1 day, man, that is smoking.
Well, we're gonna look at this Houston and Temple matchup, and Houston coming off of their 8th straight win, and I think the Houston Cougars feeling a little bit disrespected. They didn't even crack the top 25, and now they get to take on a Temple team that's just, I think, mailed it in on the season. We look at Houston; they've been getting it done with defense as well. That was the knock on Houston in past years, but Dana Holgerson's finally got this team to buy in on both sides of the football, and that includes the Cougars scoring 40 points in 6 of those 8 games during that winning streak. Like I said, Temple lost 4 straight. They were outscored 180-27 in those 4 games, and I think that this is just a spot where you see Temple just kind of get run over by Houston. I could see Houston winning this one by at least 4 touchdowns. So I'm going to take Houston to use out the Temple Owls to make a statement here. I'm going to lay the points with Houston.
Yeah, that comeback that I was talking about with Al was actually 22 points. A 22-point comeback in that Nevada-Cincinnati game. It was all in the last 10 minutes of the game. But anyways, Joe, what do you think of this one? Houston Temple.
Temple's just plain bad. They're not even going to get off the bus in their own house today. Give me Houston all the way to run away with this one. They're 5-4 against the spread this season, but against a Temple team that can't cover a spread in the last 4 games overall. Houston's just by far, they don't even belong in the same conversation, these teams. So give me Houston all the way.
I'm with you. Temple's terrible this season. Temple's one of those teams that either they're super competitive or they are absolutely terrible, and I will go with the absolutely terrible this season. Houston is a very good team. Dana Holgerson, he was on the hot seat coming into the season. As they paid him big money to come over from West Virginia. Tillman Fertitta, got him over there, and they're doing it with defense, which is surprising because he is the guy, right? He's the inventor of, not the inventor, but he's the spread offense guru, right? He's the guy. He was the guy. So he was the original of the Oklahoma State, like the big run and gun. Like he changed the Big 12 conference at Oklahoma State. Became that run and gun. But I'm with you. What else you got for us today, Chris?
I decided to switch up a little bit, bring in a college hoops play as well. And, one of my favorite free plays on the board, I like New Mexico getting the 14.5 against Colorado. Look what Colorado did. Yeah, they put up 94 in their opener, but they also gave up 90 in a narrow overtime win against Montana State, a game the Buffalo, I think, should have won handily. They were laying 11.5 in that game. Meanwhile, New Mexico put up one of the more impressive opening night performances of the week so far. 99 points against FAU, and they gave up 92 as well. But when you have 2 teams that scored into the 90s and also gave up points into the 90s in their opener, I think New Mexico did it against the better opposition. I'm going to take the 14.5. This line's already dropped 3 points, so give me the Lobos in this one.
Joe, what do you think?
I'm going to tail Chris on this one. So 100%.
All right. Well, I did a video on this one as well, and I'm with you. I think, Richard Pitino, he had 8 miserable years in Minnesota. He comes over here to New Mexico, and I got to say, I like what he did in the transfer portal. Maybe sometimes you see this where a coach goes somewhere, he's terrible for a while, and then he gets somewhere else, and it's kind of like, well, now he's got another shot, And I think that's what we're seeing here with Pitino. And I think the Mountain West is kind of like, it's become the redemption center for coaches, for them to redeem themselves and to get that second chance. We see it with Steve Alford at Nevada, who's got a stacked team this year as well. He's a lousy coach with a stacked team, and we'll see if Pitino's a lousy coach with a stacked team or if he's a good coach with a really stacked team, because I think he has better talent than what he had at Minnesota here in New Mexico. He got Jamal Mashburn Jr. to come over with him from Minnesota, and then he got House to come in from he's got guys from everywhere. Like from all the top tier from Arizona State, right? He got the guy from Kansas. He's got guys from everywhere on this team. So we talked about the transfer portal a bunch during the week, and why it's so important, especially in college basketball, a sport where the great teams only get to recruit 2-3 guys and sign those on. So anytime you get a guy that signed on with Kentucky, Arizona, or any of those teams, Duke, originally, you're getting a guy that's a top 50 player in the country in high school. And, we see New Mexico's roster now loaded with these guys, which is surprising because Richard Pitino is so hideous in Minnesota.
Yeah, and I know it's a little bit topical considering we talk about the transfer portal, but look at tonight's matchup between Gonzaga and Texas. Texas bringing in 5 of their double-digit scores from last season. We're playing for different teams last year, so I think that just goes to show you how important the transfer portal's been for certain teams.
Well, I just want to know, so Richard Pitino got all these guys to transfer over. What do you think the recruiting trips could have looked like there? For him, because we know he has experience, right? He's got the family tree of recruiting there, so you think there was maybe some good sales techniques used there.
How are the gentlemen's clubs in Albuquerque? I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm gonna guess they created their own Club Lobo.
I'm gonna take that. I don't think that's copyrighted yet. I might take Club Lobo. That actually pretty good.
Welcome to Club Lobo. What are you selling today, Chris?
You just hear the Euro music just bouncing from outside the club. No, I got a little bit going for everybody today. Which that was your cue to put on that music from the soundboard. No, you walk up and everybody's hearing that song outside. It's a party. No, I got a little bit of something for everybody today. I got college football action on the board. I got my Shotgun Saturday 5-pack, as well as some college hoops, as well as an NHL and NBA combo pack. Or some of your best value. Definitely, it's going to be cheaper than buying each pack individually. Go long term because you're going to get all the plays, whether it's today's college football and college hoops, and NFL tomorrow, all the way up to maybe a 7-day. I'll get you next week's action as well. So check that out, as well as the Puck Dogs package with myself and Rod, and tear up the ice today, and lots of options over at Pick Dogs Premium.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Chris. Of course, we'll see you tomorrow for NFL Sunday. I think I'm also going to have Chris help me out with some of these college basketball videos over at Pick Dogs as well.
Absolutely. He knows his basketball.
Yeah, I could certainly use the help. It's too many games for one person to cover.
It is. Best of luck today, Chris.
You guys as well. Absolutely. I'll be here. See you guys.
Once again, Chris Ruffalo without the donuts.
Oh, yeah, he didn't bring the donuts. He didn't even share them the other week. So.
That's your guys' problem.
Smell biscuits. It's like, God, Ruffalo's here. The whole house smells like biscuits. I'm not really sure what the hell happened there. But anyways, still got a couple left, and we know who those are. Those are our regulars. We got Rod will be up next, and it's been on a pretty solid week of games. So, have to hear
solid month.
Solid month.
It's been more than a week. It's been a month. We're up over 1,300 units in the last month. More than just a week. We've been rolling right along. Number 1 in NHL. Number 3 in college hoops. 8-4 early. Nice start.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. It's still early. Long way to go.
All right. Well, bring in Rod. Guess he's hotter than I thought. Anyways, how's it going this morning?
Going great. We hit another birdcage for free play as well. We hammered that one. That's 2 days in a row we've hit our 3-team college birdcage. Just rolling right along.
Fantastic.
Making money. That's what we're doing.
All right.
Making the pizza.
Congratulations, Rod.
Yep. All right. So what do we got today for everybody?
So today, if it's not broke, don't fix it, as they say. College football, I'm going to stick with the Washington Cougars here. You're going to give me 14 points against the Ducks. Well, I'm going to keep rolling along with the Washington Cougars. They won their last 6 straight games. They're 6-0 ATS their last 6, 5-0 ATS their last 5 as an underdog. And you look at this Ducks teams, they're 0-6 ATS their last 6 as a home favorite. They're also 1-10 ATS their last 10 as a favorite. And the Cougars 5-0 ATS the last 5 meetings in Oregon, and they're also 10-1 the last 11 meetings between these two teams. Too many points. Give me the Cougars team here, who their defense is solid, and I think they slow down the Ducks enough to get us a cover here. Take the Washington Cougars plus the points.
Joe, what do you think?
You know, this is one that we talked about yesterday with Tony, and I know you guys really like Washington plus the points. I can't get off Oregon. I think they really are going to cover in this one. I think they have way too much to prove to everyone that they do deserve a playoff spot. So I think Oregon at home, I think they have a huge day against Washington State. I just have a gut feeling about it, you guys. I know the safer play is to take Washington State plus the points, but I'm not doing it. I think Oregon has a beautiful day at home.
Yeah, I like Washington State. I just think that they cover here. I think Oregon wins the game. I think they win comfortably. I think it's a no-doubter, but I could even see a backdoor cover here. Just Oregon just hasn't been covering as a favorite, and maybe they do roll it up. It's certainly not a game that I have a premium play or anything even remotely close to. I don't even have a bet on it, but because I don't like betting against Oregon, and that's why. Because I like the Ducks. I like the West teams. I live in the West, or beyond the West. So these are the teams that we get. So, I think, the Ducks clearly the more talented team, 0-5 against the number at home, while, Washington State 3-0 against the number on the road. It's lean to Washington State for me as well. Rod, what else you got? Is that it?
What else we got? Well, I'll give you a college hoops. I like the San Francisco Dons today against Davidson. You look at Davidson, they're 2-8 in their last 10 versus a team with a winning home record. And Davidson's also 0-6 following more than a 20-point plus straight up win. Give me the Dons here over Davidson at home. I think they're the better team. Give me the San Francisco Dons in college hoops over Davidson.
Joe, any take in that one?
No take. I'll trust you, Rod, in it. I haven't looked at college hoops yet today.
Yeah, I on this one I'm gonna have to trust you as well. I haven't really dug into that game specifically. I know San Francisco is pretty strong this season though, so I could see it. I know Davidson lost one of their top players. He went to Kentucky too.
Went to Kentucky, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
But it's college basketball. They reload.
Take the Dons.
All right. Well, what do you got for sale today?
And for me, we got a loaded card. I've split it up. I have 6 college football. I have 2 college basketball, 2 NHL, and 1 NBA. So I've split it up where I got 3 college basketball in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. Or you can get all my college basketball, all the NHL, all the NBA in one 5-pack. Or you can get it all in one giant package, or as we said, your best bet is grab something term with the amount of plays in the sports that we're covering here on going here on the weekend. Your best deal is to grab a 3-day or a 7-day or something long term. We've been rolling along and winning money, so you don't want to miss out. Jump aboard.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in just a few minutes for the premium and VIP shows.
Sounds good. Excited.
Once again, that was Rod Zwacky. been hot. I don't watch the leaderboard, so I had no idea that he had been winning that much. But I guess he has. My bad. Joe? How's it going so far? Just one guest left. What?
We do. Saving the best for last.
Well, that would be you, but let's see. We got Brian up next.
Well, Joe's the best host, so the host with the most.
It's okay, Brian. We can replace you.
And actually, Rod's very hot. Last 7 days, last 30 days. He's 5 for the last 7 days, and he's number 4 for the last 30. So he's been hot for a long time.
I know you guys are leaderboard watchers, so.
Well, you got to know what's going on.
You guys would know. I have no idea. I never look. I'm tempted to, but.
Well, when I quote certain things that I'm this and that in the last whatever, I need to know exactly what it is. So I need to know what's going on.
I never say it, so I don't really care. It's kind of like, I let I've been doing this for 15 years out here. Putting myself out here.
Today should be a fun day.
I don't think
wall to wall.
It's just not my style. I don't pat myself on the back when I'm winning. I don't kick myself too much when I'm losing. It's kind of not how I do things. But that's why I don't really follow the leaderboards. I don't really worry about what that was. I worry about today's card.
Absolutely. Every day is a brand new day. You're only as good as your day before.
That's for sure. Well, what do you got for us, Brian?
No, I especially picked this game out for you, Mitch, because I know how much you love the Ohio State Buckeyes today. But I'm taking the Buckeyes minus the big number here. I think they need a big, dominating win from here on out if they want to be in the college football playoffs. And here's a chance to send a statement against a team that knocked off Michigan State last week. That win should get a lot of public dog hunters backing Purdue here today. But this is a letdown spot off of a massive, huge upset home win. Last time these two teams met, Purdue beat Ohio State, so I don't think Ohio State's forgotten about that, even though it was 3 years ago. I'm going to take Ohio State, lay that 20.5. I see a smoking coming on today. Purdue, it's not going to be boiler up today. It's going to be Purdue Boilermakers running up. Yeah, it's going to be the Buckeyes running over the Boilermakers.
I'm up 1,217 units for the past 30 days. I didn't even know it. Couldn't have even told you, but it turns out I'm also up for the week and win day.
Yeah, you've been on everybody's been doing well.
Yeah,
I saw Joe Matt.
I haven't. The thing is that I've avoided the big losing days. I haven't had too many really big winning days, and I haven't had any real big losing days. Like my bad days, like I'll go on a bad 2 or 3 day run, but it's 1 and 2, 1 and 2, It's like I have avoided, and that's all I'm trying to do. It's like I'm not, I think that my record over the years stands for itself. I mean, it's like I show up. Anyways, but now that you guys have prompted me to look, I have looked, and everyone is doing well. Because I'm
Buckeyes.
I'm up the last week, and I'm like in the middle of the page. So that's
you see Ruffalo yesterday. He stepped in something. What did he go 10-0 or something like that?
11-1 had an incredible day.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Joe, days of dreams are made of.
Joe, what do you think of this game?
Oh, this game, I'm scared as a Buckeyes fan. I do think that they can cover this spread, but we saw them play so bad last week. The way I'm going to go with this one is I'm going to look at the under. And I know both these teams can put up the points here, especially Ohio State, but I'm looking at what both teams' defenses have been doing over the last couple of weeks. We look at the last 5 games. The Buckeyes have only given up 15.6 points per game, and Purdue for the same time is 21.8. So I think this number of 61 is just way too high. I'm going to go with the under in a defensive game and praying that the Buckeyes cover that spread. They need it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting game, and you could definitely see it go either way because it's this real look-ahead spot for Ohio State here with Michigan State and Michigan up the next 2 weeks. Purdue, we've seen them kind of in this step-up spot a few times this season with mixed results. We saw them, beat Michigan State last week. That game was home. We saw them on the road we saw them at home lose to Minnesota. We saw them on the road get belted by Notre Dame. We've seen them, beat Iowa on the road. It's like you don't know what you're going to get with this Purdue team. It seems like it's feast or famine with them, just a model of inconsistency. I imagine the laundry's going to come early and often against Purdue in this one as the Big Ten needs Ohio State here in a big way. And I expect it to be one of those games that's just sickening to watch if you have Purdue. So, I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight. And I just think it's one of those games that you watch and you're just like, why did they even bother playing the game? Because they're not going to give these guys a chance to win. Either that or Purdue's going to outright them. It's going to be one or the other.
You're crazy.
No, it's like that's what.
These are the games that Ohio State kills teams because they point to them and say this is the team that knocked off Michigan State. If they wipe the floor of them, the committee or whoever, they look at these games. Huge 42-point win for Ohio State while they pass the eye test. So I don't know. I think they lay the wood today.
All right. I think I could see a scenario where it goes either way. Personally, if I was betting the game, I would bet Ohio State minus the points, and I'd bet Purdue money line. One of those things, and then rebet it during the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're the halftime master. So.
Anyways, what else? You got any other games, or you just selling stuff?
Not just selling my wares. That's
what are you hawking?
Well, even after yesterday's disaster, Wyoming non-cover, I'm 9-3 last 12 college football. I got my Get Out the Broom 5-pack of college football, all 5 plays for $50 at pickdogs.com. But if you just want my 3 best college football picks, it's my college football prime 3-pack. My 3 best bets of the day for $40 at pickdogs.com premium picks.
All right. Well, that wraps up another great show here. Really enjoyed it. And, of course, we'll be back tomorrow for NFL football. We'll be doing the premium show in just a little bit and the VIP show right after that. Probably if these shows are going to remain around this length, we'll probably do some other shows as well, throwing in college basketball and NBA because these Saturdays are going to get big. We just have 2 more college football Saturdays left after this one. And then we'll have Championship Saturday. Yeah, it is crazy. We'll have that Friday after Thanksgiving, and then the Saturday, Showdown Saturday, with the Iron Bowl, with Ohio State, Michigan, all those big games on that day. Florida State, but Clemson, South Carolina, Georgia Tech. But anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. We will see you tomorrow. This is one of those days where we don't have the all-day shows. It's the only day. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for NFL football. We appreciate each and every one of you. Let's make it a winning day. I'm going to try like crazy to act more professional tomorrow.